What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? And welcome to the Retired Hood Rat Podcast. It's your girl, comedian T.Barb in the building. Today, we have an amazing show. And if this is your first time listening, thank you. We kick it off with our Retired Hood Rat word of the day, followed by our Hood Rat prayer. And then we get into our topic. Today, we have special guests and amazing comedian in the building, Kevin Johnson.
Good morning. Good morning. Hey. Can I still bankhead bounce? No? All right,
Okay,
I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry.
Still in the old school bankhead bouncing. If this is your first time listening to the Retired Hood Rat Show, this show is about retiring from being a hood rat, even though we know relapse is a part of recovery. People always think hood rat means the lowest of the low. No, that just anybody who's down for their hood, anybody who just doesn't know better, and you are learning your way through things. Today, we want to talk about, because everybody now is a comedian. The gas station man a comedian. You know what? I got a joke for you.
Everybody.
But should you quit your job to pursue your comedy career or an entertainment career? And both of us have quit our jobs. You quit your job, Kev?
I sure did. I gave them the deuces. Bye, T-Mobile. Not sure what we said. We ain't saying nobody name until they pay us. My fault.
Okay, well, T-Mobile probably gonna cut that check a little later, so don't worry about it. But we gonna kick it about it. We're gonna make this a short, precise, to the point show. Don't forget, every Monday at 9 a.m. you can catch us on YouTube, and we're on all platforms every Thursday. So make sure you go subscribe, click like, and share this episode with a friend. Today, our word of the day. Because I be feeling like the young little ghetto. Come on, how would you praise if I was the pastor in church, Kev?
Go on now. Go on now. Say that. Say that now.
You can tell when somebody wasn't raised in the church. How would you do it? Do it again.
Go on now. Say that. Say that now. No, the same thing. That's all I'm going to say.
Is that your church?
All right, look here.
Your old black man.
Look, that's my old black man. Look here. But in church, now, I'm like my mama. My mama just say yes. My mama just say yes and rock. I got the same thing.
Yes, Lord.
Yes.
Did you grow up in the church?
Mm-hmm. I was in the church 4 days out the week in the choir and Sunday school. We traveled to the church. We always did the praise in the church. I hated that. All right, we're gonna be later on this afternoon, 4 p.m. We were going over to this church over here. I'm like, oh man. My mom was the leader of the church ministry. She started the youth ministry in the church. So we was always at church. Yeah.
You was eating all them cold sandwiches. Remember them cold sandwiches? I remember, because that's the only time I went to church was to get a free lunch. But we'll keep it moving. It's the Retired Rat word of the day. And I always try to talk about different things that are going on. And what I want to talk about this week is, you don't always have to experience something to learn from something. And I'm taking this back to when I was a teenager. I remember my sister and my mother would tell me a lot of things not to do, but it was like I didn't listen.
Right.
I had to experience it for myself. Like, my thought process was so much better. And I want to champion everybody to learn from the mistakes of others. They don't have to be your mistakes for you to learn from them. Stop thinking that all of these bad things happen over here, but you is special. You can do it differently. And that's not to try to deter you from doing something that's on your heart. But if you dating such and such and you see that he or she did this to 25 other women, you don't need to experience it to know, no, this is not for me. Okay? If you've watched somebody in your family, because what I hear from so many people is, I didn't know no better. And ain't nobody show me. But yes, they did, because they showed you what not to do. We have to stop using those things because we don't personally experience them as an excuse to do wrong. And we do that all the time. I do it, you do it, he do it, she do it. We have to stop saying, well, you know what? I didn't know. Because no, you did know. If you watch this person take some drugs and you see now they neck scratching and they had a new car and a new house, and now they don't have that, that means that you don't have to experience. You can look at them and say, hey, I don't want to do drugs. If you see this person keep getting arrested and this is how their life is going and all these things are falling apart, why would you do the same thing? It's the same in entertainment and in comedy. If I watch someone go to a venue and this venue has dogged them out, why would I have to do this? If I watch somebody go in and do this style of comedy and it just did not work, I'm going to learn from that lesson and put myself 10 steps ahead. And I think what we do is
Yes.
we put ourselves, here you go. Yes, look, there go my church.
Yes.
Look. Oh, that ain't the church drum beat. Anyway, why would I messed up in the middle of my inspiration? Why do I feel like I have to be the one who personally experiences it to learn? You know how you keep yourself 10 steps ahead of the game? You learn by others' mistakes. I'm going to say that again. How you keep yourself 10 steps ahead is learn by the mistakes of others. You do not have to personally repeat those mistakes to learn from them. Okay? Because learning is not always, oh, this person is doing good, so I learned the good thing. Learning is a lot of times, damn, I ain't going to do that like that. That's just like I'm working on a couple houses doing construction. I had to learn, hey, I don't want JoJo from the corner, because last time JoJo from the corner came and tore up everything that I thought he did right. And then I had to have Bobby rip it back out and put it back in. I learned from that. I don't have to continuously repeat that. And anybody flipping a home, I tell them, hey, I booked JoJo and JoJo did this. If you booked JoJo, that's your fault, because I just told you. I just told you. So when people show you who they are, believe them. You don't have to. If this person is just they not doing nothing, they at the crib, they car down, they don't have a good relationship with their family, they don't have no friends, they don't have no kids, and you come in being a friend, what you think? It's a reason. I always say that people who don't have certain support systems, and it's always an exception to the rule, it is a reason why, because maybe they haven't been good to the people who have supported them. You don't have to step in and have them dog the shit out of you for you to realize, hey. And I try and tell people this all the time. One of the reasons I share some certain experiences is so you don't have to go through that experience. I'm not sharing it to hate on that person. I'm sharing it because, hey, they ran off with my money. Hey, it looks like a good opportunity, but they're going to take your work. Now you're going to have to work for months to get it back. Hey, I wouldn't book that show if I was you, because the promoter going to be knocking on your hotel door and then he's going to make it look like you a problem. I try to tell people, because you don't always have to learn. Stop thinking that people are telling you things hating all the time. Now, don't get me wrong. You get some hatage.
Right.
It be some hatage in the building. Don't need no hateration, holleration in this dancery. I get it. It be some hateration sometimes. That's where your spirit of discernment has to come in and say, you know what? This seeming hateration ish. I love making up words.
I like it though.
You like the word?
I like hatage. That's gonna be that's in the dictionary right now. Hatage.
Hatage.
Yeah. I mean, it's that's the thing about language, man. You know, you can communicate, and it makes sense. It's a word.
It's a word. And somebody else came up with another word, say haterade, hatage, the haterage. It happens. But in general, learn from other mistakes. You don't have to, once you see somebody step their foot in some shit, you don't go behind them and step in the same pile of shit. Walk around it and learn from that mistake. And that's how you stay 10 steps ahead. The reason that people educate, teach, and talk about different experiences is for you to learn so the next generation can do it better. Okay? It's some stuff you just not gonna listen to. I understand, I get it. But for somebody out there, learn from others' mistakes. Okay, don't repeat the same mistakes. That's our Retired Hood Rat word of the day here on the Retired Hood Rat podcast. Don't forget, we are live every Monday at 9 a.m. on my YouTube, comedian T.Barb. Go look at past episodes, like, share, comment, and on all platforms every Thursday. Today we have my special guest, my dog Kevin Johnson, in the building.
Yeah. What up, dog? East side.
Kevin, you are a comedian and friend of the show. Can you tell people a little bit about? Oh, matter of fact, I'm wrong. Hold on, I gotta pray real quick. It's time for the retire hood rap prayer. I was about to get it going. All right. Don't forget this prayer. We do it every week. It's not about whatever deity. It's just about putting that positivity into the air and reminding you if you did not pray today, whether you praying to yourself as a 5%er, whether you are praying to Hishnu, Allah, Jehovah, God. I'm praying to God. I call him as God. So I'm going to say, dear God, but it's just a reminder to make sure that you pray and put those vibes out to the air. So bow your head. And if you're driving, don't bow your head. Dear God, we are so thankful that we are here today. We ask someone that they get the knowledge and the understanding to learn from the mistakes of others, God, to use your wisdom, your guidance, the discernment that you give them, God, to do better, to be steps ahead, to be the head and not the tail, okay, to be the leader and not the follower, and only to follow in the instance that you tell them to, God. We are just asking that someone understands that there is power in learning from others and that others' mistakes do not have to be theirs, God. They can supersede, they can proceed, and they can sky high. That's another made up word. Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Y'all can sky high, okay? That was out of context like a mug. You sky high.
The Lord heard you. He know your heart.
Hater rich.
He know your heart.
I say we in the building with my guy Kevin Johnson, comedian extraordinaire, formerly known as It's Kev. How you know I was gonna say that?
Everybody, look, some of my closest friends when I first started comedy, like Mike Larry, he still has me in his phone as It's Kev.
I still have you in my phone. I do. I have you as It's Kev. I mean, like, It's Kev. We used to love saying it.
Yeah, it's funny. Like starting comedy, I was like, no, you gotta have a nickname. You gotta have a nickname, man. You know what I'm saying? That was it. And I mean, I still use it. Like I said, it's on my social media handle. So sometimes if I have a really good show, I'll end my show saying it just like I don't do. All right, then that's my time. My name, it's Kev, and then I get on stage. You know.
Get out. Okay, so Kev, tell the people a little bit about your journey. When I first met you, you were a comedian still. That's how I
Right.
met you. But you were working a 9 to 5.
Yes, yeah, I was. Yeah, so I mean, I was working for T-Mobile for about 12 years. 12 years with T-Mobile. I started doing comedy in Grand Rapids while I was working at T-Mobile, and you know, it's a journey. Like most comics, don't jump right into making comedy their career. It kind of starts off as a habit or something they're curious about and trying out. So you know, I went out there, did my thing, and started getting started to do it more. And like when you start getting some money from comedy, eventually you start looking like, hey, this might be something I can always do. I'll take these couple of dollars and start off at $50 here, $25 doing shows, and then all of a sudden you start to get $100, and it's like, all right, I want more of this. If I can do more of this, I'm gonna keep doing it. And that's kind of where I got. That's the point I got to at T-Mobile, where it's like T-Mobile, especially working retail. When you work retail, you got to be there on the weekends. Weekends are always big times for selling stuff, and night times when people are, getting off of work, so they'll go shopping after work. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time a comedy is. Comedy is at night.
Uh-huh.
Comedy is traveling on the weekend.
So let me ask you this. So okay. So just to get a glimpse of your story, you started comedy while you was working.
Yep.
You were working at T-Mobile, start comedy.
Right.
Comedy starts to take off. At what point did you decide to quit your job, and did you have a goal when you quit? Were you just willy-nilly in it? Did you have a plan? You had money saved up? Like, what was the strategy for Kev to quit his job and pursue his career?
That's an excellent question. Very, very little.
No haterage. No haterage.
I just felt like I was gonna be sky high. So you know what I'm saying? So I just, I was like, I don't know. No, I was passed over for a promotion, and at my job, and I heard I got some advice. You talking about learning something from someone else? Another comedian, my friend Melanie Hearn, excellent comedian. She had a conversation with Faison Love, and big perm,
Big worm, big worm.
big worm. My fault. Yeah, but she had a conversation with him, and he was just talking about, you know, at some point you do have to kind of leave and jump out on that faith, and it's not you're not gonna you got to leave that security of the job, because that's when we're taught that you go ahead, you work 40 hours, you don't get you a check, you'll be able to pay for your apartment and pay for your food or pay for your car, whatever your bills are. With that 40-hour check, you'll be all right. But when you dive into this comedy thing, it's not guaranteed. It ain't guaranteed. You got shows next week, right? My calendar is like it's open. There's spots in when people call me like, "Are you got booked this day?" Sometimes I'm not booked, and sometimes those days don't get filled. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
And it's a scary thing. So if I was to do it over, I would definitely. I had money saved because I was gonna have 401k with T-Mobile. I had money there. I was making pretty good money.
So you cashed out your 401k?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
So was that like okay? So was that like your plan was hey and I'm not gonna lie, right? This is why I don't need to go live sometimes while I'm doing these shows. So I'm on TikTok live.
Uh-huh.
And they got this thing on my face. I feel like I look like a
I
something. I
bet
look
you like a puppy or something.
shiny, not a puppy. I mean,
Oh.
I look the same, but it's like I look shiny. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. um, so you quit your job because you always hear people saying, quit your job, quit your job, quit your job to pursue your comedy career, pursue your entertainment career. But you had a 401k, you had some money
Man, some
put
money.
to the side. And how many months worth of money did you have to sustain yourself?
Not nearly enough. Not nearly enough, dog. Like because you feel you figure out, like, you look at rent and like, all right, then I could pay rent for about a year just right here because this is rent is this much, but you don't account for emergencies and stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
or stuff that you just want. I mean, like in comedy, you have to. Well, not in comedy, but just probably in entertainment. You really your wardrobe is part of your investment.
Your wardrobe is part
That's
of your
part.
investment.
You can
Your hair, your or
all.
lack of hair, because Kev is bald headed to
But
anybody
the
who
razors cost. The razors cost. You know what I'm saying? So I got to pay for those. But I mean, it's and plus it's also your situation, because some people. I mean, I'm in a situation. I don't have any kids. So I mean, some people have kids. They gotta.
and you didn't have a wife or kids. So
No, no.
you didn't have certain things that some people consider holding you back.
Yeah,
Because having a spouse, and I'm gonna break down my thoughts on it after you break down yours, because having a spouse can be a gift and a curse when you're
yeah.
leaving your job.
I mean, I had a girlfriend at the time, and we did the whole shacking up thing. You know what I'm
Was your
saying?
girlfriend willing to help support?
Well, she was understanding and knowing that, the stuff that I was doing, like taking her out all the time. Once again, I made great money with T-Mobile, so we did a lot of blowing the money. But once it got to the point where I was like, all right, then look here, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start putting these 40 hours into myself, and eventually it's
Okay.
gonna pay off.
So
But
you
it's
can't just quit your job. So you didn't just quit your job and say, I'm gonna lay on the couch all day. You kind of assumed comedy as like a job.
it is. I mean, you have to change that mindset. I mean, like I said, some people get into it and it's just fun to do, and because some people like just to hang out. Like if you ever go to some open mics, you see a bunch of comics who really just there just to hang out. I mean, they get on stage and do something, but they party and drink and
Well,
just
it's really networking.
yeah. I mean it.
We
Yeah.
see, and I do think that words have power. I'm not the best with using my words for power, so don't. I'm not no high priestess of words or
Right.
nothing. But I do think when you like, for instance, we used to say, well, I'm putting together a show or throwing a show. It's really you producing a show. You
Right.
are a producer.
Right.
So when a lot of times, and don't be wrong, it's a difference. Some comedians is out drinking and smoking and that's it.
Right.
And then you have some that consider that networking.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just about that level. Like I said, at some point, like when I go out to these open mics, it's because I'm trying to get these new jokes ready for the big shows. And I'm not like in a few months. Like it's like, all right, I'm doing these shows now. I'm trying to cycle in some new material right now. You know what I'm saying? So you
Mhm.
work on at those open mics, and like once it becomes once you start thinking about comedy every day, I feel like that's when it's like, all right, it's time for it to become a career. Like I
So
wake up
hold on. So your thought is once you start thinking about it every day, quit your
every
job.
day. Well, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying quit your job, but that's when you start making those moves towards it.
Okay.
Making those moves towards, like I said, putting those 40 hours. Because you look at, like I said, once again, 12 years with T-Mobile, 40 hour weeks, 52 weeks. Let me do some quick math. What's that? 20,000 weeks from 0 0 0 2 0 2. Yeah, 2,000 weeks.
Okay, Renaissance graduate
You know
doing
what I'm
that with no
saying?
calculator.
That's that is a lot of time that I've given them. And what did I get for them? Just some money. Well, if I've put that amount of time into my comedy, and I've gotten money. You know what I'm saying? The same amount that I would have made in a week at T-Mobile, I made that when we went to the festival. And I mean, it's not. It's about if I put in more of that time in there, especially with now, especially now with social media, it's little kids making money on TikTok and YouTube, putting
What?
putting a couple of hours of their time a day just into doing that. And I know, a lot of us as adults, we got other stuff we look at our life, but you got 24 hours a day, just like that kid had 24 hours, just like another person. It's always people who can do it.
I think it's a few things. I think it's a few things. And I think it's a few things I want to just double back on that you said. That's a little bit more to me. It's more than just thinking about it because you do have some people who don't have the level of talent that they think that they have.
Mm, check.
There are some people who are great marketers. So they get show after show, and every show you go to, they're not progressing in their craft.
Right.
So everybody is not, I was not as good as I thought I was when I started. I thought I was goddamn Eddie Murphy reincarnated immediately. It took time to build up some chops. Now, I've always been good, but I wasn't as good as I thought I was. And I
Yeah.
think that that's something that you fall into with comedy. I think it's some comedians, stand up wise, that are not good stand up comedians. They beef themselves up. You may see them win this, do that, go over here, do it, and they still don't have it.
Right.
So it can't just be because you love it all day. Because
Yeah.
there are that small group of people that love something that never progress into it. That's even like a hairstylist.
Mm-hmm.
Baby, if you've been doing hair for 10 years and still can't put a finger wave in, it ain't for you. I don't care how much you like it. I don't care. So we still have to have that honesty factor in it. The honesty factor has to be there. Are you progressing in your craft? But I do believe that passion is one of the number one reasons. So I'm passionate about comedy.
Right.
I would do comedy all day, every day if I did not get $1 for it. I would still find something
Mm.
to post, something to say. If I'm at a meeting, I'm always gonna be the one where people laugh. I don't give a damn. Do not sit next to me at shit if you
Uh,
don't want to talk.
Several times now I've sat next to you, like several times I've sat next to you, and you be going. I mean, like missing stuff. I was like, but
But
you
you
are hilarious.
laughing, but
But
it's
you hilarious. It's
hilarious.
because you're hilarious. I mean, I'm gonna listen to you. But yeah, it's yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. At work, let me tell you something. At work, because I was a social worker for 14 years. I worked 3 years with agency called the Children's Center, and I worked my last 11 and a half with the state of Michigan, right? And I worked in a lot of capacities: foster care, children's protective services, adult protective services, and then I left my career independent living services, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. If you is investigating child abuse and the whole family in there rolling, you know you
You
got a
funny,
gift.
yeah.
It's something.
Yeah.
Cause I'm in here like I'm about to take the kids. But guess what? Bada boom. It'd be a little twinkle. Let's ease the pain
Yeah.
a little bit. So the thing about it was, but it was a passion that I did not know was my passion because I didn't know about it. I really thought that my passion was selling hot dogs downtown. Shout
Mm,
out to, I had somebody on my TikTok say they used to come to my hot dog cart outside of the city county building.
for
Shout out to
sure.
everybody listening across the country. But if you did not know, your host and your comedian T.Barb owns and operates a hot dog cart that I did for 18 years. This would be my
Delicious dogs.
delicious dog. This would be my it's my 18th or my 19th year. And so this is before comedy, before I even knew that comedy was a thing you could do, because I didn't know it was a thing. But once I found out, I was like, I love this.
Right.
But I couldn't just quit because I loved it. And I had a hot dog cart. I had to go work that cart every day.
Mm-hmm.
I worked that cart every day while I was still building my chops up. And I also produced my own shows. So I control my own destiny. Like I tell people, it wasn't even that I was worthy to be booked. I was booking myself. I think I just saw an interview with Cash Doll saying that. It's the truth. I was booking myself, and that gave me the opportunity to grow to the point where I could be booked.
Right.
To me, a comedian, when you know they should be booked or paid, is when they have the material that they should be paid
Absolutely.
for.
Yeah.
So that took some time, and it wasn't just I'm quitting my job. I regressed as far as my lifestyle was concerned. Did you have to take any setbacks in order to
Yeah.
quit your job for comedy?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Once again, you don't when you make a lot of money, you know what I'm saying. It becomes easier to blow it. You get used to going out. You get used to all right. Then let's go to the movies. Why? Because I just got the money. Let's blow it. Let's go.
Let me ask you this: how much was you making at T-Mobile, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm about 55.
About 55,000 a year. That hurting your throat a little bit
Oh
still.
man.
When you said it, you said about 55.
Yeah,
55. So you was making $26, $27 an hour easy.
yeah, because I mean with commission stuff like that, and because once again, so just like you were able to use your your comedic timing and your comedic genius in foster care, I was doing the same thing with selling phones. So I'm making people laugh. Give me your money. You know what I'm saying? So T-Mobile paid me very well to do that. I was even on the events team when they sent us out to.
Remember, you came down to the hot dog cart. You
Yeah,
was running Campus Marches, and my hot dog cart was in
yeah.
an area of Detroit called Campus Marches.
And all we do is we get people who are walking around downtown to stop, come over here and spend money. They didn't even know they want to spend that. You didn't know you wanted a phone today. And my job is to tell you, no, you want this phone right now. You don't leave this little minivan right here until you got the phone. And they pay you. They will pay you very well for that. You know what I'm saying? My homeboy said they put pink cuffs on you, pink fuzzy cuffs, because you stay with that brand because they're giving you this money.
And you having fun.
You having fun. And then but not knowing that you making them bazillions, but that's not really your point. That's not really in your scope of view. So you can pay this money, having fun, easy work, 40 hours every week. When it got to the point where it's like a comedy, like, all right, then no, I don't want to miss the show. I could be going to the show. I could be doing this. And it's like, well, I'm supposed to be doing my 40-hour job.
And once again, you is something to be noted. You did not have a wife or kids.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you had to find a babysitter, or because that was one of the considerations in me quitting my job or not. Was that I had a lot of stability.
Yeah.
I was making $27 an hour, almost 28.
Yeah, you get that money.
This 4-5 years ago, we get a raise with the state every year. I was working from home before the pandemic.
Right.
I went into the office one day a week. Already. We work in the field a lot as social workers. So I drive the state of Michigan car. I use the state of Michigan phone. We had iPhones, the top iPhones. My phone could work in a cave. I swear to God, they had their own VPN networks and stuff because of the nature of the job.
Right.
We're in the field. Your phone has to work.
Yeah, you get dropped. Social work. My mom was a social worker.
In 11 years, I think my phone did not work one time. Yeah. I think I was in some county in the basement or something. And I think that because they have to be able to catch you, and then you're not spending your gas. I am not gonna lie, I did not take no vacation time. I was going to the doctor because you have the flexibility.
Right.
And I still chose to quit, but I quit with a plan.
Right.
I quit with a plan. And one of the biggest things I was concerned about was my son having insurance. Yeah. So tell me about some of the step backs you took. Yeah. And also, what did you do about insurance? Just being honest.
Yeah, I mean, I paid for insurance when I first got it. When I first got out, I paid for insurance. And I mean, right now I don't have none. So
why you ain't on the MA?
Well, we're gonna talk about
the young
that.
MA.
What's the young and May?
That Obama, they hating and they don't do. You better go get you that young and May, baby, until you get that money up. You better take your ass to the doctor.
That's why we had this conversation, so you can tell me.
Yeah, we'll talk about it because I'm still under the poverty levels. So they hating if they want to. Obama,
man,
you better pay that $12 a month, get you some insurance.
I'm
But
about
we'll
to.
talk about it. We'll
Yeah,
talk about
yeah,
it for
yeah,
sure.
man. But
Um,
like, I mean, that means stuff like that. Like I said, vacationing. I mean, paid vacations. That's the thing you have when you have
I
jobs.
mean, like, did you have to get another car, move to another
Oh,
apartment? Did
oh,
you have to stop going out to eat? What did you have to
yeah.
stop doing to accommodate the lack of
Oh
income?
yeah, oh yeah. That was it. Yeah. So I mean, I moved in. I moved
It's
in.
like that
Moved
was
in
it.
with the girl. Moved in with the girlfriend. Like I said, shacking up. I mean, just to cut rent in half. You cut rent in half, and like you like I said, you bet on yourself, and you don't always win. Like I said, you learn some stuff, and some stuff you learn the hard way. Like I said, joined a couple groups and learned some stuff about money then, and what kind of setting up contracts and stuff like that. You learn that. Some of them lumps you just gotta take because you're in a business on your own, and you don't really have all the knowledge of it.
Yeah.
You don't have the knowledge of it, so you going in blind, kind of swimming your way through this muck to try to
Oh,
get to the
Poe
promised land.
Kev. See, I got an MBA. So,
Yeah, you brain better than I do. You know what I'm saying?
it's not that. What it was so when I was getting an MBA, everybody, I wanted to go get a corporate job, right? At first, I wanted to be like this executive. I'm from Joy Road, I'm from the hood. My parents really was crackheads. Well, not crackheads, heroin addicts. So it's a little difference between a crackhead and a dope fiend. But anyway, it's a big difference actually. For real, they do. Dope fiends is better people.
Yeah,
They just started.
yeah,
My mom ain't, I wasn't getting sold for no, for no dope.
right.
Now I might not have shit to eat tonight, but I ain't gonna get sold. But anyway, back to this. And my daddy was a drug dealer too. But anyway, so everybody used to be like, well, what you gonna do with the MBA and what are you gonna apply to this company? And I never wanted to. First, I was using it for hot dogs. They were like, you gonna use that for hot dogs? I'm like, yes. And my business model, I started taking those things I've learned, but I see it was really for this.
Mm-hmm.
Had no idea, but it really was for this. So it really groomed me for this. And I think, I took a couple step backs. So I sold my house. So we did the same thing with the house. And I
Right.
sold my first house, which was in Dearborn Heights. I sold it. And I got another house, which was a little bit, I tried to hurry up and get it before I quit the job because they're very prejudiced against people who don't work 9 to 5s when you're
Yeah.
doing homeowners. So I have a few hacks for that. I'm gonna share some hacks at the end of the show, as to how you can generate a legal W-2 for yourself and all of those things. But so I sold the house, then I got rid of my car. Car gone. Well, shit, somebody got rid of it anyway. They bless me. Sometimes shit be a blessing in the side. You ever come outside and be like, they took my shit. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Praise God. Go
Yeah.
Detroit. Go
Right.
Detroit. Keep stealing shit. Keep stealing shit. So it was a blessing.
Yeah.
But my thing was normally I would go and replace it every 2 years. Every 2 years. Every 2 years I got a brand new car. I actually went and got a Town and Country and a fucking 99 Ford Ranger. Town and Country gets totaled. I am driving a Ranger to the shows, parking in the back. The Ranger didn't have no air and it did not have power
Oh.
locks or doors. So I was reaching over, but it was great for the hot dog cart. Great for the
Right.
hot dog cart. So that's one of the things I did. And I also didn't have any furniture for about 2 years.
Yeah.
I
Man.
moved to a much bigger house from my house. So, usually you get in and you go get a couch and this and that.
Right.
And for 2 years, I did not have a dining room table.
Oh
And
man.
it really hurt me, but I felt like I have to sacrifice. And I also sold my own hot dogs. So I had hired people for a long time. And I was out there in that greasy, hot ass. Oh, it was so
Oh,
hot some days.
it's a box.
Inside the hot dog cart, selling hot dogs to all the people was like, oh, you a comedian. Yes. Do you want ketchup or
Come
mustard
on.
today? What do you need
Yeah.
on your hot dog? And I set it up by myself and did a lot of those things. So those are some concessions I took because you gotta sacrifice.
You do. You do. I did a little lifting, on the side. Because once again, comedy is not consistent. You cannot get into comedy for a paycheck. That is the wrong thing to do. This is a craft. Kind of like musicians as well. Musicians and singers, You have to do it because you love it. And it's got to
Yes.
be something that you would do for free forever, and then eventually you will get paid. You'll get all the residual from all that hard work that you put in, all them hours, all them open mics, all them guest spots. You drove 2 hours just to get 5 minutes of
And just so
time
you know, a guest spot is when a comedian pulls up and performs for free.
for free, just to be on the stage. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, all that work you'll start to get paid for. I mean, what you get paid for your shows will increase and increase and increase because of that work. But it is not something that comes initially.
It does not come initially, and you get a lot of new comedians like, well, when I'm gonna get paid? First off, you don't have the material to get paid. The only way for you to build up the material is to do a bunch of free shows
Hmm.
and free shows in different markets. So, like Kev said, I remember I was telling Mike Barr, shout out to Mike Barr.
Right.
I was telling him I remember I drove to Saginaw for like 12 minutes and he snuck and gave me some gas money because he didn't pay. He gave it to me out of his pocket. It was a free thing. He was like,
Right.
here go 40 for the gas.
He
I
sound
remember
like
thinking
Mike.
like,
His
yeah,
voice.
don't I sound like I know his voice. Let me go 40 for the gas. And I'm thinking, $40, my friend wouldn't do shit for 40, but right now I'm pursuing my dreams. I need to know, do Saginaw react to this joke like Detroit
Yeah.
does?
Right.
Do white people react to this joke like black people?
Yeah.
What is the difference? How do I build up my stage presence? When I come out, what's a good opening joke? Okay, this one hit, this one didn't. It's almost like college.
Hmm.
College, you pay for 4 years to come out and have this job. Only difference with comedy is you can go from nothing to $100,000 like that.
Yeah.
Right place, right time.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's not. It's just not the common story. You know what I'm saying? Most people have to. It takes time. You have to pay dues and put in that work. It's like, once again, it's something that you do because I love it. I genuinely love making people smile, and it makes me happy after shows when people just come by just to kick it with me, just to say what's up, because it really is a gift that we have to be able to entertain. We got a room full of, I don't care if it's 10 people to 200 people, 300 people in the stadium who I don't have any idea what their life is about, and I have to make sure I come up with this brilliant idea that they can all understand, regardless of what they've gone through, get it, and then find it funny. You know what I'm saying? And that's really a gift for us to be able to do that. Like you said, when you first started, I thought it was funny too when I first started. I look back at some of my sets when I
He
was
be like, who the hell?
who
Why
did
did I keep holding this?
who did I think I was when I and because it is so much to it to get you to that next level. It's not just about being funny. It's really a show. It's a presentation.
It's entertainment. And I think, and hold on real quick. Shout out to Life with Darcy, my little comedy nephew, and Shelly with the Fade, who just did the narcissism episode. Get ready for narcissism episode part 2. I think that's what we're gonna try and do next. That narcissism part 2, because that was a powerful episode. Go follow Life with Darcy
Oh
too,
yeah,
and Shelly with the Fade.
Detroit comedians out here, baby.
Detroit
We
comedians
winning on
out here.
all
We is winning
platforms.
on all platforms for sure. Um, what was the last thing you said, Dan?
You know how much I spoke. You gonna ask me what I
You were saying
said?
some deep shit. I had a little reaction.
What I was talking about was when you watch. I said when you watch your shows from when you first started. What we said is it's not just being funny. It's a show. It is a presentation.
It's entertainment. And I get so tired, especially in Detroit. Shout out to Only in Detroit, my aunties, everybody rocking with me on social media, all the auntie mob, all that. Let me tell you, it's entertainment. I am so tired of hearing people say such and such was not funny or I didn't like such and such. Somebody loves them. That's
Mhm.
why they're still doing what they're doing. And it's entertainment.
Mhm.
This is to be entertained. Entertainment may not always be that every joke hits. Entertainment may be the vibe that they gave you. Entertainment may be the movie that you watch. Comedy spans so many different. We have social media comedy, stand-up comedy, comedic acting.
Yep.
There's comedic writing. There are people who only do voiceovers.
Mhm.
So there is comedic commentary. There are people who give the news in a comedic form. So there are genres to this. There are genres to this, and we have to stop saying, well, that person, this person, maybe they wasn't your cup of tea.
Yeah, I mean, even people like comics like Andrew Dice Clay or something like what's Lisa Lampanelli. They're not funny, but they are entertaining. They with the insult jokes.
You don't like Andrew Dice Clay?
I mean, put like Andrew
He
Dice
said that
Clay.
ain't funny.
He put like I'm not. He's a. I mean, it's more so on the line of entertainment. Of course, some of the stuff he says is funny, but it's more so he's not saying for every joke to go ah. Some
He
of the
want
jokes.
his jokes be like, and then I told so and, and, and and you be like, I listened to some of Andrew Dice Clay just to get ready for my audio album, T.Barb Live at the Independent. Make sure you go download that if you ever just want to laugh for free. I was trying to do some research on different comedy audio albums, especially being an independent artist. Every dollar I spend has to be. That's why I can't let the audio album go. I'm like, I spent my own little money
Come
on
on.
that. Let me pump that up. And he is so offensive and do not give a fuck.
But it's entertainment because then it's just everyone. Oh, the whole audience go. Oh, you know what I'm saying? It's still entertainment, and people will come just for that. Same thing with Lisa Lampanelli. She'll go into all different types of races, every fucking black guys and black nigga. Oh, it's not necessary that it has to be. You've bought me in stitches folding over. As long as the crowd is paying attention to you for that amount of time, you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, they are satisfied. Then, like the comedy also, I mean, it builds on emotion. I mean, it plays on your emotion. So
Yeah.
if you leave feeling lighter because you laughed, you know what I'm saying, or you leave feeling like
Feeling
man,
better.
yeah, like dog, you did your job. You were entertaining. That's it. Because even some comics. I mean, I'm a big energy comic. I'm across the stage. I run across the stage with some of my jokes. Some jokes I dance. And some comics are like, or some jokes I sing. And some people are like, well, you know, that's not really comedy. Why not? They're entertained. The people are who are.
But who is to say what's comedy and what's not? If people are laughing and enjoying themselves. But let me ask you this. Let's pivot because we were talking about quitting your job.
Oh yeah.
As far as pursuing it, do you suggest that people who want to pursue comedy or other entertainment careers that they quit their jobs?
I would
That
say
was a
do
heavy
it.
breathe.
Yeah, because I mean, do it when it makes sense for you. Once again, because I mean, like I said, there's some people who, like I said, who I don't have any kids. So if I go a week without money and I just got to eat, McDoubles every day, then I may have to do that. But like if you got kids and stuff like that, you got to make sure you feed your kids. You know what I'm saying? So you got to put in that work, and you may have to keep your job or just reduce your hours to do there just to make sure you got that. Just in case you may need to, keep insurance for your son or whatever like that. I mean, like just like in your case. So no, you can't just quit your job for that. But when you get to the point where, all right, and I put in this much time, it's been so many years now. Now I'm getting paid. Now I'm not just doing guest spots. I'm doing feature spots. I'm getting headline spots here and there. It's nothing wrong with betting on yourself. That's what I would say. Bet on yourself. When you feel like it makes sense, start betting on yourself. When you feel like that's a good bet on yourself. Stop putting your money into somebody else. Put your money into you, because eventually it will pay off. You're going to get better at your comedy. You're going to get better at your craft. You're going to start getting more money, and you will eventually get to that point where it's like, now this is all I do. I am almost there. And once I get that $12 insurance from you, I'm about to be straight to the mud.
You say straight to the mud.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not gonna suggest that. What I'm going to suggest is that a person come up with a sturdy plan and stop saying. Now, what I will say, and this is where the 50-50, the passive aggressive nature of T-Barb gets in the way, and that no time is ever going to be a good time.
The perfect time.
So if you say, or the perfect time. So if you say, hey, I'm going to wait to April 17th after Shushu gets her surgery and such, that's the perfect time. Because something else is going to come up, right? Um, but, 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 You have to have a plan, a goal, and stick to it. I don't suggest anybody quit to pursue a career or their dreams if they don't have a goal, meaning not somebody else's goal, not what they think can happen, what they really want to happen. Hey, I'm going to quit my job and pursue comedy and be an actor. I want to be in a feature movie or TV show, and that is my goal. That means that instead of doing stand up all the time, you'll just go to auditions all day.
Right.
Or, hey, I want to be a touring stand up comedian, because then that way you know which way to divert your efforts. If you don't do that, you'll just be flailing,
Right.
which I did for years.
I did for a little, I
Also,
did for a little, little while as well. Like I said,
yeah.
you learn some hard lessons with that.
And I think that you have to have some money put up, but you have to also be willing to cut back. You have to be willing. It's a saying. You take 2 steps backwards so you can take 10 steps forward. You have to be willing to cut back. I think if you're not willing to say, hey, I'm gonna cut Netflix, whatever it may be, unless you just got the money like that, which most people don't.
Right.
If you got you a 50 piece, a 25, 30 piece, and I ain't talking about 25 piece and your rent 7,000.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about 25 piece on the little $1,000 rent, and you have enough to where you can say, hey, other than that, you need to have a plan. You need to have an income. And most people, you have to have multiple streams of income, even when you're working,
Mm-hmm.
if you are trying to acquire wealth. So you have to keep that in mind with comedy. And you also have to be disciplined enough to treat quitting for your dreams like it is a job. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people quit and they pursue entrepreneurship, but then they lay their ass on the couch, or they say, you know what? I work for myself. I ain't got to do shit today.
That self motivate because you can get lazy. Once again, like when you have a 40-hour job, I know I got to be here because my boss is going to be on my ass if I'm not here at 9 o'clock to punch in for my clock. I got to make sure I stay there till 5 o'clock, or else my boss is going to be on my ass. I may lose a job. And you have to approach it that way as well when you're going to this comedy thing. Like you do have to get to a certain agenda where it's like, all right, then look, I'm gonna get up at this time. I'm gonna just check my social media, make sure I reply to these people and post something up. And then later on, all right, I'm gonna put this time into writing something. I'm gonna put this time into practicing a sketch or putting something together just for that entertainment. Because if you're not filling that 8 hours, how can you expect to get paid the same amount when you are working for 8 hours? When you're working 40-hour a week, you got this much money because of all the hard work you put into it. You gotta kind of take that same mindset with comedy when you go into it. Otherwise, like I said, it's easy for you to, like you said, Netflix binge something for all day because why ain't nobody on your head saying, hey, look, you got to get up, get this comedy stuff done.
Well, you have to be self-disciplined enough to do that for yourself.
Right.
And that's one of the things, and one of the tips I want to give to quitting your job. When I first quit, I set myself on a strict schedule, just like I was at work. Hey, I'm going to get up at 7. I'm going to work out from 7:30 to 8. From 8 to 10, I'm going to watch YouTube videos dedicated to my craft,
Right.
whether that's how to write a joke, how to take a better selfie, how to self-record at home. I put myself in school almost, because I'm like, okay, well, let's say I don't have anything to do. It's always something to do. Let me learn how to build a website. Let me watch a YouTube video on how to start my Wix. So it was different things. Let me learn how to better utilize the apps on my phone.
Right.
What free apps do they have to make flyers? Let me learn how to work those apps. You have to be preparing yourself for when that time comes. So, can you give the people, they love your story.
My people.
Yeah, your people. For those people who are looking to quit their job to pursue their careers, what is some advice you can give them?
I was definitely just second what you say. Have a plan. I mean, I did not necessarily have a plan. I had a goal. I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to go to these certain states. I mean, and I started off really, really strong. Just go to states. I was using Lyft because I could Lyft whenever I went anywhere. Use Lyft to pay for shows, stay a week there, do shows, get some networking done. And I mean, and that still pays dividends now from there. But yeah, definitely have a plan on what you want to do. Like I said, I mean, a lot of time and a lot of resources was wasted learning lessons that I didn't have to learn the hard way. I could have. I can
Back to that hood rap word of the day. Going back
come
to
on.
it.
You know what I'm saying? We sky high out
We
here.
love sky high. And ain't no hater rich.
Ain't no
Ain't no
haters.
hater rich. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, and surround yourself, like you said, with some people who are on the next level. You know what I mean? Try to get some information, get some free lessons. There's a reason why they charge us so much for education, man, because it opens up doors for us. That's why school costs so much. So if anytime you can get a free education from someone, take it. You know what I'm saying? Someone who you can trust, someone who's credible, someone who's in your profession, who's doing well. Hey, how did you do this? Because I want to get to that level. Hopefully, you got someone on your team who is legitimately on your team and wants to help you and see you win too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great advice, Kev. How can they follow you and keep up with you?
Uh, Follow me on all social media platforms. My handle's it's Kev ITSKEEVVV. So it's 1K, 2 E's, 3 V's. I hate having to explain that. I'm a,
You don't have to explain it.
yeah, I do. Because otherwise, they be like, people will ask me, what? All right, then. But I mean, follow me on there. Comedian Kevin Johnson on Facebook, and T.Barb's gonna give me information on how to, get my website up too, so I can drop my name on my website too. T.Barb, T.Barb is. I'm so. Let me just say this. I am so proud of from the time I met you to where you are now, and I want to learn so much more from you because of your business ethics and along with your comedy, it makes. I mean, you deserve the success you're getting right now. So
Oh,
I'm
thank
happy to see it
you.
for you.
You know what? Let me give you. I appreciate that because I'm gonna be honest. I was thinking yesterday. Oh, I'm such a crybaby, right? Nobody gets to see me cry, but I be crying all the time. And the thing is, I am really trying to get in a space where I'm just like, yo, I'm cool with it. I am so impatient right now. I feel like it is I am not where I should be. But I have to understand that God has me positioned where he wants me to be right now. And I do at times feel like I work too hard not to get some of the recognition I believe I should get. But hey, that's a whole nother story. I'm thankful for the journey. I'm thankful for where I am. And the truth of the matter is, to me, I'm already successful in that I make the same amount of money doing things that I love to do that I
Hmm.
was making working. I'm able to sustain my lifestyle and pay
Yeah.
my bills and all that. So that's good. And shout out to our sponsor, Loving in Our Purpose. If you're in the Metro Detroit or mid Michigan area and you need help for your loved one and they have Medicaid or you need help yourself, call Loving in Our Purpose. 1-800-975-5812. One more time, 1-800-975-5812. You can also go on the website, which is lovinginourpurpose.com. I think I said I was going to drop a couple business tips at the end of the show. I think I forgot, but I'll give you some. I don't know which ones I was going to drop. But if you don't, Canva, Canva, it is critical. Get that app on your phone. And guess what? I just paid for the paid version. I thought the free version was good. The paid version, oh, kicking ass. Get it. Canva, Canva. Also, Shopify or Wix. Great places. Every independent artist should be selling some type of merchandise on those platforms. I don't always do the best, but when I really position myself to sell, it does help. And they have ways for you to sell where you don't need any money up front. Okay, so make sure that you put that down. Don't forget, if you want to keep up with T-Barb, www.tbarbisfunny.com. March 1st, April 5th, and every first Wednesday of the month, 2023, you can catch me at the Detroit House of Comedy, which is inside of Hockey Town next door to the Fox. And every Thursday, you can catch me in the metaverse at the Ladies of Comedy Museum. All tickets, tbarbisfunny.com. And go download that new album, that comedy album, T-Barb Live at the Independent, with the hit single, Scoochie on the Coochie. Until
Gucci
next
on
time,
the
don't forget,
cool.
you don't have to be a hood rat. You can always retire. And even when you do retire, relapse is a part of recovery, but we all working on it. Until next